Clayton, it's Roger Glenn Plus Realty, and we are here again with Mayor Kurt Cannon for Mike Up the Mayor. This is our June 22 edition. Yeah, it's becoming a habit, right? Fresh off a city council meeting last night, so we try to do these the morning after if we can. So as always, thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor.
It's good to be here.
A beautiful day. Budget. Everybody's interested in the budget. I don't know why that is and what it is. But yeah, budget hearing last night was one of the themes of the city council meeting. You want to talk a little bit?
Yeah, we had our first budget hearing of my tenure here. And then, of course, first one for our new finance manager and the first one for our city manager. And we had to do it really fast because they both just got hired recently. And as we've talked about in the past, we've had a lot of financial issues to clean up, and that's still in the process of being done. And we're trying to get all the systems in the computer so we can then transfer them into a new computer system. So to do a budget in the middle of all of that, when you're trying to get everything sorted and cleaned up, is difficult in itself. And then having to do it really fast, because the new folks just came in. That process should be taking 4, 5, 6 months of slowly working it in, but that wasn't the case this time. So we had to really rush, and we also changed several things, changed formats of things to make it easier for the public to understand and easier for our department heads to understand. And by doing that, we compiled several things into areas so they weren't spread out over a bunch of different areas, and alerted several of our department heads that, hey, you're spending way too much money in some of these areas, let's clean this up. And so it definitely identified some things that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
And so we've got the budget ready. We had that hearing last night. We didn't have too many show up, but and no real questions. I mean, it's pretty large. It's complicated, and still, even though we cleaned it up, trying to make it easier, it's still a lot to take in. And
right.
We're around over $6 million, so. And we're trying to also make sure that we're planning for the future and doing things that needed to be done. We need some vehicles and some of the departments that were way past due.
Mm-hmm.
There was requests for way more, but we're going to stage them in over a 2 or 3 year time period and make that a little gentler hit to the budget. But there's definitely some things that were desperately needed, and we're trying to make sure that happens.
That's a real good point, though, about fiscal management. You've talked a lot about transparency, and you talked about the chart of accounts and restructuring that before, and so that people, the taxpayer, understands it. But it's also a good point. It helps your managers understand where they are in their execution of their budget versus your target, and sort of identify those areas where you may have issues.
Yeah, it definitely identified some areas that we had some issues, and we were able to show those department heads, hey, this is not working. Let's do this better and trim some cost here. So we're trying to be good stewards of the people's money, and I want to do it just like I would in my company, because obviously if I don't do it right, I don't eat. So we want to make sure that we do it that same way here, and try to make sure that we're being good stewards and doing what we were elected to do, and make sure that we're using the money wisely, and also allows us to look to the future and start planning for a bright future, and do some things in the city that need to be done desperately. Whether it be roads and streets or new buildings or parks or whatever that the city should have already had done. We're going to aggressively go after that, and do some things to make it where the citizens have more things to use right here in town, and for to attract people to come in from outside and use facilities that we have right here and spend money in town while they're here.
There you go. What an idea. Yeah, speaking of public funds for repairs of things, we were joking about the fact Jason went on vacation and you had a few major breaks, one being the manhole that you're working on right now on Savannah Street.
Yeah, that was a little emergency situation. There was actually, we were having some issues there, and then we were running cameras trying to figure out what was going on. Identified some issues in the lines, but then also found that there was a caving out around one of the manholes, which is right in the middle of the road, which means it could cave in. The state actually made us wait just a little bit until they got their ducks in a row about the changing routes and rerouting people around. So, and we also had to get bids in to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got all that done within a week. We got the state to okay the reroutes, and then got the bids in quick, and they're working on it now, and it's supposed to be done and paid before the end of this week. So and it looks like the weather's holding good, and so they're getting done. They've got 2 manholes in already, and then they're starting to cut across the road with new lines, because we'll have new lines going in and out of all of those, both of those manholes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so maybe by the time people are watching this video, it'll be fixed. But now you know the rest of the story. Sorry, Paul Harder, I had to.
So that's what's going on Savannah Street. If you drove up through there and so
Yes.
know what's going on, and the Wilcourt, that's a company that's not too far away. They're down in Clarksville, is doing the project, doing a really good job so far, keeping it really clean and the traffic moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's going well.
Yes. So, you also mentioned the water main down by the golf course coming up over 441 towards the city. Can you just talk a little bit about what you're doing there and trying to get some federal funding to support?
Yeah, we had already got some funding for part of the line, and that'll go from the golf course up to Leaning Chimney Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And the issues we run into is, of course, cost of material and even being able to get material. So this is a GFA loan and grants, and GFA would only allow the contractor to bid the whole project before, and so with the issues we're having getting material, the city, we figured out that we could get a better price and a better guarantee of delivery from the suppliers for materials that the contractors weren't able to get. So I went to the GFA board and said, hey, I know this is the way y'all been doing it, but considering the issues that we're having, can you allow us to bid out the materials and buy that separate? And they agreed to let us do that. So we put out a contract to buy the material and then a separate contract for the labor for the installation.
How about that?
It's the first time we've done that here, and so it still takes time. Our best guaranteed delivery date is June of next year.
No, June 23.
So we're hoping that they extended that out a little past what they think they can get it, because there's a $500 a day penalty once they go past that day. So we're hoping that'll deliver way ahead of that, and we can get that project moving. We've also got applications in for a $5 million grant, for federal grant, that'll be able to carry that from Leaning Chimney on up through Main Street. And then we don't think it'll reach all the way to the whole shirt factory, but we want to get as far as we can get with that money, and then hopefully try to get another grant. Then we'll have a complete north to south trunk line that'll be able to carry water north or south either way.
That's great.
We're actually putting in a new switch station valve up at the shirt factory that will allow the plants to be able to control that valve remotely and bring water from the north, and that'll be the first time that we brought water from the north, and that bid has also been met, and that'll switch valve will be installed hopefully within about another month.
Yeah.
And that's because of the new cooperation between the city and the Water and Sewer Authority and the county.
Yep.
On working together to make it better for everybody.
Yeah, and I think next month we're going to have Greg James here with
Yes.
us, and maybe we can talk a little bit about some of that cooperation between the city and the county.
Yeah, and that's going really good. I mean, both sides, the employees and everybody were, I think, made to hate each other during that process, and now they're all working together, and things are going really well.
Yeah.
And it works better for everybody.
Sure, we've talked about the challenges, inherent challenges, some municipal and county, local governments, and working together, hopefully achieve some of those synergies and economies of scale. But switching from public works and water and some of those things, if you have a sweet tooth, there's something to look forward to. I don't know if folks know, but I heard a rumor about a donut store coming to town.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is coming into a location on 441, and they had asked for a variance that we gave them last night to come a little bit closer to 441, which they'll still be behind the stores that are on either side of them, so they're not like they're coming real close. But they'll be starting that soon. We're going to tear down an old building right beside Waffle House and put the donut store there, and then a credit union right beside it. So that's some more new businesses coming.
Yes.
And I've been really excited about a lot of new businesses. Of course, Hush has moved down to Clayton, and pretty much every store in downtown is occupied. I've been trying to find a location for a business I can't find anywhere to put it. There's nowhere to go.
Frustrating, but a good problem to have, I guess,
Yes.
especially as the mayor.
Yes, and walking and talking to a lot of the business owners, they're all happy. They're getting a lot of traffic, and their business is good. So
Yeah.
I know Hush. We've talked to them several times, and they're really happy with their move down here, and
Yeah.
they're really staying busy. So that's good for
From
them.
what I heard, everybody's happy.
Yes, yeah.
If you haven't eaten at Hush, so they have a location in Dillard, but now have a location in downtown Clayton, so right on North Main Street, and plenty of parking. So they got a great patio area. So we'll need to get over there and do a video on them separately.
Yes.
But they're there. The other thing I was going to mention is a couple weeks ago, Clayton and Raven County were designated as the 51st Appalachian Trail community through the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Could you just talk a little bit about sort of what your opinion is on what that means to Clayton?
Well, I talked to Bill down at Outdoor 76 a lot about that, and he was very instrumental in getting that here. And
Bill Bennett, big beard guy.
that to
There's a
happen.
video on Outdoor
Yes.
76 out there somewhere.
Yeah, he was very instrumental, very excited about getting that designation. And what that means for the city is that it's now listed on their trail apps. So when they get close to, like over on 76, they can see that Clayton's one of those, and they have numbers that they can call, people that'll run out and pick them up and bring them into town. And Bill said that a lot of the trail users have told him that system has worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
And even hitchhiking in, that they've been treated very well. People picked them up, brought them into town, and the store owners and business owners have been very nice to work with. And so they come in, they spend money, and then they come back and bring their families because they experienced a really nice town. And us as a city, we want to identify things we can do to make that experience better for them and make it a good experience, because we do want them to come back and visit Clayton. again and again.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're excited about that designation and
Yes.
put up the signs already.
That's right, the signs are up. So if you want to see a video of the whole ceremony, if you weren't able to attend, it was at the Civic Center, and we've got a video out there for that as well. In the last couple minutes that we have together, maybe you could tease us about some things that are going on here at City Hall that people might be looking out for, or maybe some input that you might be looking for from the citizens of Raven. Or
Yeah,
Raven and Clayton.
Absolutely. We are excited about the future, and we've been putting together some ideas and some plans and some drawings about what we can do with all this property here, this 17.5 acres or so. We actually don't know because there's not really a survey, so we're going to get that done soon, and we've already got some drawings that we'll be releasing soon to the public. And we would like input. So what would you like to see in the city? What would you like to see in the city park? What would you like to see and hear from the citizens to use and enjoy and experience, and also what could we have here that would be a draw for other people to come and use and to bring people to our community. So give us your input. Tell us what you think and what things, or how you could help us. We're looking at doing this, some parts of it in a public-private partnership. So we would, people we've been talking to about raising the money to build some parts of this so that we're not using taxpayer money, that we would do it all through private donations and grants. We're identifying grants and monies now to do some of the things. There's lots of money out there for parks and stuff like that. So we'll go after those, and we want it to look really nice and be representative of this community. This old building here has served its purpose. I went to elementary school here. It doesn't have a good appearance anymore for events or use for public things and events. So we want to make it better and put on our best face. And we would like your input on what we can do to make it better.
Yeah, how about that? Well, thank you for your time. Mr. Mayor, reminder to everybody, the city council meetings are open to the public. So if you'd like to attend, all the meetings are on a consistent day of the week and week of the month. But still you can check the City of Clayton website to get meetings not only for that, but we've talked about in the past planning and zoning and some of the other board meetings that are out there as well.
Yeah, and all of the city council are accessible, as well as I am, to call, talk to, got an issue or suggestion, or you want to volunteer and help with something, let me know what your gift and talent is, and we'll try to put you to work. And also Trudy is available and very accessible. The door is always open there, and that wasn't always the case, but it is now.
Yeah.
And in the past. So we're also very open. I know Megan at the Tribune has been very excited or overwhelmed with the information I've been giving her. I told her, I said, you don't have to file an open records request. Just tell me what you want, we'll give it to you. It's the public's anyway. It's not mine. And we're not going to hide anything. We're going to try to show you everything we're doing and be as open as possible. So if you need information, give us a call.
There you go. Well, thank you again. And Clayton, Raven County, we will see you in July. Enjoy June.